Read the story. Immigrant Children Face Risky Road to U.S. by Luce Lazo, adapted by Newsella staff, and this was published October 15th, 2019. Let's zoom in. Read the article. Identify new vocabulary words. In the past few months, thousands of people have been held at the United States' southern border. This border is shared with Mexico. Many of them are kids traveling from Central America alone or with family. They want to live in the United States. However, they do not have permission to do so. Because of a law, some of the children have been released. They are living with family already in the United States while the government decides whether to let them stay or send them back home. Americans do not agree on how many immigrants should be allowed to come to the United States and stay. Immigrants are people who move from one country to live in another. Travel from El Salvador. Wendy is 11 years old and immigrated to the United States with her parents and an older sister in May. They spent a month traveling to the U.S. border from their village in El Salvador, a country in Central America. They traveled by foot, bus, and car. They used a raft to cross the Rio Grande, a river that divides the U.S. and Mexico. I was afraid I was going to drown, said Wendy. The entire trip was long and scary, she said. Wendy now lives in Silver Spring, a town in Maryland. Along the journey, the family split up, and Wendy crossed the border with only her father. They surrendered to the U.S. officers. Wendy was separated from her father at a center for processing immigrants in Texas. Wendy was placed in a big, windowless room with other girls and women for 4 days. She had ham and cheese sandwiches and water for dinner. She was not allowed to shower, and one night the room was so crowded that there was no space to lie down to sleep. When she became cold at night, she said, she used aluminum foil as a blanket. She said during the day, she mostly sat quietly and prayed. After the 4th day, she was released and rejoined her father. I was so happy. I wanted to see the sunlight, Wendy said. In June, her mother and sister joined them in Maryland. They went through a similar experience. The family is going through the process of getting permission to stay. This process can take a long time, and they still may be sent back to El Salvador. Looking for better opportunities. Wendy's parents say they took the risk to come from so far away because they did not earn enough money at home. They could not support the family. Her parents were also afraid of gangs that hurt people and steal money. Madeline Taylor Diaz is a lawyer from Ayuda, an organization in Washington, D.C. that helps immigrants. She says that people such as Wendy and her parents come here for better jobs, education, and freedom. In recent years, many have also come fleeing danger in their home countries. Officials have been debating what should happen to these families. President Donald Trump and his supporters do not want people to cross the border unless they have permission. They want to build a wall along the Mexican border to keep out people who do not have permission. In late September, President Trump changed the laws for people who enter the country without approval. They will now be sent back to Mexico or their home countries right away. They will have to wait there while the U.S. goes through their requests. The change is supposed to help deal with overcrowded centers at the border. In the past 11 months, U.S. officers arrested almost 1 million immigrants at the southwest border. That is nearly double the total arrested in 2018. More than 70,000 were children traveling alone. Taylor Diaz and others think that the United States should welcome immigrants. Helping immigrants is like helping our neighbors, Taylor Diaz said. The kids are just like the kids you go to school with. Treating them fairly is a part of the American tradition. Wendy is adjusting to life in the United States. Her parents are trying to enroll her in school. Still, she misses her friends and grandparents in El Salvador. They also miss me, Wendy said.